It's the Two Strange
Podcast. All right, Tom, pull your trousers up. We're live now. We're live.
How many times can I say I'm sick of these?
Stop saying you're sick of them because you love it.
Well, actually, I'm on to you.
Oh?
Yeah.
Well, put your trousers up when you say things like
Oh,
that.
sorry.
My goodness.
I've realised something.
Yeah?
Like we were talking about the podcast off air.
Yeah?
Because we do exist outside of this podcast, just in case.
What were we talking about?
So we
off-air?
were just talking about, like,
Format.
the format of the podcast. And I've realised that you're teaching me right now. You've got your little teacher hat on, and I am not being manipulated.
I just told you to pull your trousers up.
No. Like, do not circumvent where we're at, right? I will not be manipulated anymore because I've realised that these little, like, film sections,
Yeah.
this is you educating me.
Is it?
Yeah, you're trying to make me a better film teacher.
Am I?
Yeah, by, watch this cult classic and watch this, and you've not seen that. Let's put it on the podcast. I will not be taught, okay?
Oh, that's absolutely why
I'm an
I showed
adult.
you Sam Hell Goes to Frogtown.
Okay, there is a few exceptions,
Yeah.
maybe half the list.
Uh,
But if that's your game, mate, I'm on to you.
Well, maybe I should open this up for you to educate me, okay?
Okay.
Go on. Teach me something.
Every now and again, the moon
Yes.
is dark. A part of it.
A part of it
Do you
is
know why
dark.
that is?
No. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess and say that it's something to do with aliens and the hollow moon theory.
Bang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
You got, so basically, the aliens, they go in their invisible ship,
Yeah.
and they just, like, fire out a ray that makes it a little bit dark on one side, so we can't see them building monstrosities on the other side. That's why they call it the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. And those aliens, Pink Floydians.
Yeah, and guess what they look like?
What?
Birds with fish heads.
Yay!
Cycle back.
Synergy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd look if I had time.
Yeah.
I would. Now, what I would like to talk to you about
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
is that I'm very hungry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could you say that you're
I'm almost
ravenous? Very good.
So what are we doing?
So I could, at this point in time, because we said that at the same time, I could say Jinx 1, 2, 3, and then you wouldn't be able to speak for the rest of the podcast unless I said your name.
Oh, I
3
thought
times.
it was Jinx 1, 2, 3, and then a swift punch.
Oh,
Maybe I'm just from a more northern school.
my son's doing it all the time at the moment. Yeah. So really, people would just hit you.
Yeah, like Jinx 1, 2, 3, and then a hit on the shoulder. Do you know how many games there are, like childhood games? I don't know if this is like a Northeast thing, but almost every game, like, the yellow car thing, bump no return, British Bulldog, all of the games basically are either do this thing or get smacked in the shoulder.
Right? Yeah. Sure.
Pretty much all of them.
Kids perpetuating the toxic masculine thing, having lots of fun doing it as well. I mean, it was very satisfying going around and kneeing people in the side of their leg and saying, "Grandad."
That passed me by.
Oh, it did?
Granddad?
Yeah.
What, because then they, like...
Yeah, because they're like hobbling around like a granddad. It was good fun.
That is a little... that's a little fucked up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Double granddads are double fucked up. I'll tell you
Is
that
that
much.
so one person from each side?
But taking it both ends, yeah.
I'm taking it. Oh, Jesus. So, like that topic, the film we're going to discuss is a little bit hard to swallow.
Oh, you can
I've
keep
not
going
slept
with this.
today.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. So we're looking at a film, everyone. Hopefully you've done your homework, because when we promote these other podcasts, we say what the last film was or the next film is that we're going to see. So you should have done your homework. If not, just have a quick look at a trailer, at least for Ravenous. I don't think Ravenous might be one of those films that gets a lot of publicity. You might not find it on streaming services. It is a Fox Entertainment film.
Yeah.
But it might not be on Disney, might it?
I don't think it's on streaming services. I mean, I randomly saw it in like a Poundland
Oh yeah.
one time.
It's a Poundland film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it has that kind of feel of like the cult classic that, like, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you want to watch this film, you already have a cinephile, you know, who's gonna have it on DVD.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
that
yeah.
sort of like
Yeah.
film, isn't it?
Yeah. I love the film. I think it's really good. But there's other reasons, I guess, why it would not be like on streaming services. I guess, you know, I mean, it's pretty gory. It's you know, talking about like the mechanics behind cannibalism, amongst other things.
I mean, we've got to kind of address that first, haven't we? It's gory. I mean, the whole kind of setup of the opening is the main character accidentally drinking blood.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's the whole. And then, even outside of those kind of gory scenes, you've got a scene at the beginning where he's being, you know, congratulated, and there's like this bowl of blood from this steak, and they really kind of hone in on it, don't they?
yeah.
So very early on, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily like a disgusting film. It's not Saw, it's not Hostel, it's not even Event Horizon.
Yeah.
It never at that point reaches the absolute gore, the glory gore of any of those films.
Yeah.
But it's just a little bit gross.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, like, there's only going to be a handful of films that really kind of like talk about cannibalism and the eating of humans, like one human eating another human. And I think a lot of the time, like, it's going to focus on like the grotesqueness of meat and showing meat to be this sort of like awfully bloody sort of thing. And that essentially, it's got such a tight opening, this film.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, before we go into all of that, one thing I wanted to do was kind of like think about the way in which we like talk about these films, you know, just as a way to sort of clean up the whole like film review thing, because I don't know, I think it might be like turning people off, etc.
Yeah,
so we've got to think about it, right? Okay, so we've got to keep some spoilers away, and we've also got to explain the basic premise of the film at the start. So some things need to be no-go. Do you know?
Okay.
Are you a fair? Yeah.
So endings. Let's just let people discover them on their own.
Absolutely, yeah. And if there's like big twists, maybe like steer away from them. Don't ever reveal them, sort of thing. Yeah. But look, I mean, like at the end of the day, you can say that there are twists in films, okay? Because otherwise, M. Night Shyamalan would not have.
Well, we'd never be able to do any of his films.
Yeah, they would not. He would not have a career.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the thing with his films is the idea. Oh, what a twist! You're going to expect it. You know, and that in itself is kind of a spoiler.
There's no twist.
Yeah. And
that has been film where it was a basic film and everyone was like, "He's a genius again."
Well, I kind of felt like that way with Knock at a Cabin. Like I didn't see the twist. I didn't understand what the twist was. It was like the whole film was a slow twist. I guess I don't know. It's an odd one. That. So anyway, okay. So this film. Okay, has got some big names in it.
It has.
Some of those big names you will know from their faces, but you won't know their names.
Like,
so big names, big faces, character actors.
Like that one blonde soldier that's always getting blown apart.
Absolutely.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. He's probably in Save It Private Ryan.
Yeah.
He's in other things as well. Yeah. Soldier Boy. All of these characters.
Oh, why me?
I don't know what that is, and I don't know.
It's Soldier Boy.
Oh, you're singing Soldier Boy.
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Tom, I have absolutely no idea what Soldier Boy does.
Soldier Boy did a dab before a dab.
No idea. I don't know.
He was like, you know.
That has completely missed me culturally. I know that there's a guy who spells soldier with a J-A at the end.
Right.
That's him, surely?
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them knocking about.
Okay.
The Soldier Boys, as they like to be called collectively.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Are you talking about the army?
I'm just trying to create a law. That brings me to something I want to discuss at a later date.
Okay, yeah, we're going off on tangents all the way
But
here.
that's like how we work.
Absolutely. Okay, so essentially what we're saying, everyone, is that the film is set around, American sort of Civil War sort of time. It's not necessarily the Civil War.
The
After that, I guess
sort of
it's-
Western expansion, isn't it?
Yeah, it's it's got lots of flashbacks to a Mexican/American conflict, of which the main character is a part of.
Yeah, it's late 1800s. Isn't it?
Yeah. But anyway, lots of soldier boys in this. But anyway, so all the soldiers that make up the cast are all real unique characters.
Yeah.
And as I say, they're all people that you would recognise. So it's starring Guy Pearce and Robert Carlyle
Yep.
as protagonist and antagonist. Yeah?
Guy Pearce,
Yeah.
budget Christian Bale.
I was going to
Prove me
say budget Ethan Hawke.
Oh,
Yeah.
because he kind of looks like Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. And I went into this film going, yeah, I love this film. Robert Carlyle, Ethan Hawke, what's not to like? And I watch it and it's like, oh, yeah, it's the other one. It's the other one.
It's the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they could play brothers, I think.
Robert Carlyle or Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke and Guy Pearce.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on a theory,
Yeah.
kind of like my moon theory, where they are the same person. Have you ever seen them in a film together?
No, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for like a Step Brothers like sequel where
It's just them two.
it's just them two.
But it's really dark and gritty for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, they've sapped the comedy out. Like, it's just an intense thriller.
I mean, you could argue that Step Brothers also sapped the comedy out, but
Excuse me, Step Brothers has some amazing
Will Ferrell is not funny.
comedy. I sort of agree. Like a lot of the time, I don't really like him. But Step Brothers, funny.
Is it because they put a ball sack on a drum kit and you're a 5-year-old child?
I am a 5-year-old child, and I like when they act like 5-year-old childs. To be honest with you, Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
Don't you dare put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
That's the highlight of the podcast right there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna get turn it off. It's not gonna get better than that.
No, I mean, okay, so you got those two, yeah,
Yes.
Guy Pearce and Robert Carlyle, and then you've got some other characters as well that make up this whole group of people. Much like any sort of horror film or something like that, you've got an ensemble of people that are going to get knocked off one after the other.
Yeah.
But there's more to this film than that. It's not just a horror film. But anyway, like let's go through some of those names. So you've got that soldier boy that we talked about that we do not know the name of, and
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean?
But he's in all sorts.
He's in all
I'm pretty
sorts
sure
of
he's
things.
also in Stargate.
Oh, you know where he is in? He is in.
Where he is in.
Yes, he is in Star Trek First Contact. He plays
He is, yes.
the red shirt that gets that has speaking roles on the bridge of the Enterprise, but he gets what's the word? Assimilated by the Borg.
I always see him getting murdered. It's like he's got like a little murder kink.
Yeah. He's like a mini Sean Bean, isn't he?
There's our next tier list.
Yeah.
That indescript character, just how many times?
Actors that get murdered.
S tier death in Ravenous.
Yeah. I mean, is death in Ravenous pretty good? And we've given up a fucking spoiler.
Oh.
It's just impossible, isn't it?
Do you know what I really like?
Yeah.
Now,
Everyone dies in it, for fuck's sake.
Now you're just like, we will have order, and then you break the order yourself.
Yeah, you can't do it. Just can't do it.
Fuck the rules. There's a really nice shot of him, like, and he's dead, and the main character kind of going, oh, should I eat him to survive? And then you've just got that kind of glass look in his eye.
Yeah.
And there's the rustle of the bushes.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to the glass look of his eye, almost like, it's judging him for the unspeakable thing that he just did. I just thought that was a really nice shot. And from a practical point of view, those glass eyes looked really realistic. I mean, if I didn't see him in anything else again, I'd be like, dude's dead, like in real life.
Yeah.
Just like a really good shot there.
So yeah, you've got some other like characters in there as well. One main person that kind of stands out, probably the most notable person other than those three, I guess, would have been the older chap who runs the outpost that this guy eventually gets to.
Yeah.
He is the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, I thought I recognised him.
Yeah.
I was trying really hard to kind of place him somewhere.
He's recently been released from prison. If I remember correctly, he had to stop acting because he was basically found out to be a big pedo.
Honestly.
But I don't know
like
my
Hollywood
details.
has
I don't know my details, so I have to say allegedly.
It's almost like Hollywood has a problem, right?
Yeah,
They just
almost.
figure that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was him. At some point in time, you never saw him in any more films, but it was like a big face in the 90s and 80s and stuff like that. You saw him in loads of stuff. Big character actor. But anyway, basic premise of the film. Okay.
Hit me with it.
There's so many twists and turns with this film. You kind of thought that it kind of got a bit goofy, didn't you?
I think the premise is goofy.
Yeah.
I think the dialogue and the way that it's written was really well done. It was almost like a character piece.
Yeah.
Set because my problem was that it's almost similar to the way the structure is. People going off, getting stuck, having to eat people out of necessity.
Yeah.
It almost felt like the whole story about the being in the Andes Mountains and the expedition group ended up eating the members that were dying. It kind of feels like an exploration of that, but then they add some goofy like supernatural elements that I feel don't really add much to it.
Well, I like the supernatural elements, to be honest with you, because I think if we have our follow-up episode where we talk about cannibalism, I think we'll be able to actually, find some, what's the word?
Well, I know
I'd say with rabbit ears held up, quotation marks, some truth in it.
Well, I know there is
standpoint.
mythos to say that there's quite a lot. I mean, we'll delve into it more next week, but there are some of, if you drank the blood of your enemies, you would get their strength, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of what the film was getting at. I think there's even a reference or a line somewhere that says the same thing. And what I find goofy about it is like this is delivered through a Native American person telling them this old folk tale, and I'm like, it's just a bit for writing so good. That part seems really generic.
Yeah. I mean, I like purposing the idea of a Wendigo this way. I thought that was pretty cool. And it's just literally like a human flesh craved person knocking around.
Did you get the idea that they were supposed to be super powered from it? That it was a little bit more on the muted side.
I liked that that it wasn't like they were talking about the fact that I'm stronger and stuff like that, but essentially it just enhanced their healing. But there was little bits here and there, people showing a little bit of higher levels of strength, but also I guess if we're talking about from a Dungeons and Dragons standpoint, this would be plus 10 Constitution, wouldn't it? You're going to be able to, and an extra HP.
Robert Carlyle, Blood Berserker confirmed.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Okay, all right. So let's just give a brief premise, all right? Like a little mini trailer in your heads, guys, all right? So essentially what happens is you've got Guy Pearce, who is a chap who got scared during a battle, but because he got scared and played dead, it meant that he could, what's the word? Help me out.
So he got scared, went into a wagon full of dead bodies and pretended to be dead.
Yeah.
But they took him back to their headquarters because it's a bunch of dead bodies they're going to burn, right?
Yeah, and so he was able to take over a Mexican outpost, basically. And so he was promoted, but because the nature of his promotion was a bit dodgy, he was playing dead, he was a coward, etc. He's sent to a remote outpost, and in this remote outpost you meet all of these different people. There's the the outpost general there.
The Breakfast Club of soldiers.
It is. It really feels like that, you know. And everyone's got their unique little element to it. And I loved how quickly you were introduced to everyone.
Yeah, and they were well written.
Yeah.
Like it was. I remember the characters. Even the ones that were only on screen for 5-10 minutes, quite well.
Yeah.
Whereas I've watched films that have, superior films, quotation mark, where I can't remember the cast of characters apart from 4 or 5 of them.
I mean, if you compare, say, for example, Event Horizon, which, albeit, is not going to be known for its dialogue, etc., and compare it to the Ravenous, the writing of Ravenous, at least through the introduction of characters and the unique, memorable parts of these characters, Ravenous manages to do like double what Event Horizon is able to do
In an entire feature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I mean, it's so well constructed and concise and simplistic in the way in which it approaches, like, you know, it's important for you as a scriptwriter to have a focus and a reason for having a scene, and like it's just filled with reasons, you know. So you've got the outpost lead, the general, and he is what's the word? Very book smart, which will come back later. It's only a little thing, but like, you know, he likes to learn languages and stuff like that. And then that will help explain later when he has to actually decipher what a Native American guy is saying. Yeah. They've got a Native American guide and his sister. They've got basically a priest. They've got a real hardcore soldier guy.
Yep.
And all they have to do with the hardcore soldier guy is show him in an icy river
He's like,
doing endurance. Yeah, and that's all they have to do. We know everything we need to about him.
That bit was almost like a spoof.
Yeah.
What I found interesting when looking at the film is they call it like a horror comedy. I wonder if the original intention was the comedy element, or whether that's just someone... Because sometimes posthumously, they add that comedy tag to it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if you're using
like
that word... Right, you're using it creatively, posthumously.
Yeah, because like a film's dead on arrival, right?
Yeah, but are you saying posthumously or posthumously?
What are you posthumously?
Posthumously, because you're saying it's a comedy. Posthumously.
Yeah.
Or posthumously.
I don't understand the question, sir.
What? One means when something's dead, and you know that, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. It's just a funny little pun, I guess, but it works.
Yeah.
It works. Okay, all right.
I purposely said posthumously.
Okay, all right. I'm just explaining the joke for everyone, okay? Well done.
Yeah. I'm on fire today.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like it. Okay.
Posthumous. Oh, God. Let's put this episode in the bin. So I wonder if, because of the critical reaction, whether it's now referred to as a horror comedy or whether that was the intention of the writer. Because quite often with, like, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is, like, B-tier horror, but it's not necessarily, like, it's somewhere within the realms of being, like, a B-movie and somewhere in the realms of being a big budget. I think it's, like, in the middle.
Yeah. I don't see it as a horror. I think of it as, if anything, almost like, it's very odd, you rarely get these, but like a comedy thriller.
Yeah.
I guess. Like, there's an element of mystery to it. There's like twists and turns and stuff like that. And there's some very thrilling parts to it as well. But then there's also goofy comedy to a certain extent. It's darkly comic, you know?
Yeah. If someone was like, give me a film that's a black comedy, I might throw them that.
Yeah. I think it's a real niche film that you don't get a lot of, you know? You don't get a lot of these sort of films.
Why maybe we like it.
Yeah.
As people whose like day job is to teach films as well, right? And we're constantly surrounded by film.
Yeah.
I think we gravitate towards stuff that's just a little bit off the shelf because it's something we don't see all the time. How many times do we, watch superhero movies in actions, or like a generic sort of horror that is an entity?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we're bored of that, and when a film comes along and just kind of subverts something and makes us think, that's an interesting concept. Look at all the films that we've done.
Yeah.
How many of them have we said we like that subvert? Samuel Goes to Frogtown is probably not a good film, but it subverts what our expectation, and we both ended up liking it.
Yeah. I mean, it's enjoyable at the end of the day. I guess the only thing we need is the idea of it being just a strange film to fit with the title of our strange podcast. So anyway, you've also got some other characters as well. You've got Drunk Doctor, always a classic.
Yep.
And then is that it? And then like supporting characters and stuff like that. Other like soldiers and stuff like that.
It's kind of two-tiered, isn't it? You've got the first batch.
Yeah.
Spoilers. And then a second batch.
Yeah.
And I think they differentiate themselves quite well. I mean, some of them from the first batch are in the second batch, right? But I feel like it gives it a nice act structure. If you see it from first batch and second batch, that's a nice act structure going along there.
So anyway, just to get that full summary all out in the open. So Guy Pearce goes to this outpost, meets all of these people, and then who would turn up but Robert Carlyle?
Robert who?
Robert Carlyle.
Carlyle.
That's right. Robert Carlyle is essentially a guy who essentially he accidentally eats a load of his friends.
Yeah.
And then they have to go off and investigate this, and it opens up this whole concept of the idea of eating people and what it does to you and stuff like that. And I'm not going to give anything else away. I guess we don't necessarily have to, because there's some brilliant twists. So one particular
particularly
scene
with Robert Carlyle.
Yeah, there's one particular scene in general where you're kind of fed a red herring, right at that, pivotal point, real sort of like height of action there. It was like the midway of the film. It should be obvious if you're going to look at the trailer and stuff like that Carlisle's not quite what he seems, but, you don't necessarily know how they get there. He's feverish. He's having nightmares about the idea of eating other people again. But it takes you on a wonderful journey, etc. And it's a spoiler that I'm happy to get rid of. Like, fucking everyone dies, apart from like one person.
The idea that people go in without any context to this. Like, if you've not watched it, just go watch it. I didn't know much about the film and feel enriched by it. I feel like if I watched the trailer, then it would kind of take it away. There's a lot of death, but it's not something like Saw or Hostel where it's just torture like porn all the way through. That's not what this is.
No,
it's a character piece, really, using cannibalism and this idea of kind of, I mean, how many times do they say manifest destiny?
Yeah. I mean, if anything, like, we looked at The Substance a long time ago, and within the like body horror of The Substance was that idea of linking it back to food, and this film does that as well. And we've talked about the idea of meat looking grotty and very bloody and very raw, and then that's juxtaposed with like shots of war this time, as opposed to people showing off their asses and stuff like that.
I think that all of the like writers are secretly part of this like little vegan group, and they're just gonna go, meat's gross, guys.
Okay.
So that's they're just putting it into the films.
Well, it's got to be like a new generation, because like I thought like all of the Hollywood elite were like cannibalistic Satanists. So I guess like that's Gen Z?
I thought you were going to make like reference to them, eating their own sausage, if you get what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that they're all like paedophiles and predators.
Did you not find this film to be a bit homoerotic?
Yeah, at times. Cause do you know which scene? Turn off for 30 seconds if you don't want to spoil.
Oh, forget it. People have fights, don't they?
But the bit where the guy gets hurt on the way up, and then he just cut to Robert Carlyle like, over the top of him. It's like, he licked me.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
But,
like, that's a bit gay.
Go. But there's later bits. So you know. I mean, this isn't a spoiler because if I've already said that Guy Pearce is the protagonist and Robert Carlyle is the antagonist, you get that from all of the trailers anyway. Like, they're bound to have a fight at the end. As they're fighting at the end, okay, there are points in time where they're both covered in blood and you're just thinking like, go on, kiss. You're so close. Go and kiss. And they both end up like, one of the last shots is them like lying next to each other, like
almost exhausted.
But like, you know, put a pillow under them, put like a cigarette in their hands, etc. They could have had sex. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Maybe it was a metaphor, right?
There's a lot of penetration in this film.
They fought their urges.
That's it. Yeah. And Carlyle is just trying to turn him like, you know, from straight to homosexual the entire time.
That is the film. That's the subtext right there. We solved it.
Yeah.
That bit where he's just like, that's why I made you enter the fold, and they're like looking out the bit. I was like, yeah, there's some stuff to be drawn. If this was in a GCSE English like literature class, they'd be pulling this about.
Subtext, yeah. Hey, you ever eaten another man? Huh? You had another man in your mouth, huh? It'll make you strong.
You ever had a muscle throbbing in your mouth?
Yeah, that's it. You used to have tuberculosis. Now I just have gonorrhea.
That bit was weird, wasn't it? Just like unfounded, like, I used to cough up blood. All right, Robert.
Robert, that's not in the script.
I fully, like, in my head canon, I fully think that whole bit where Robert Carlyle just looks out and goes, manifest destiny is just something he decided to put. He was reading the book and he was like, I'm going to put it in. Because it doesn't really seem to fit the wider thing for me.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I tried to kill everyone, but now I'm trying to turn everyone and create a utopia. And it's like, no, well, you just tried to kill everyone. The only reason that you're not killing him is now because he's one of you.
Yeah.
So you can't then go, oh, I've been planning this all along, guy. No, you have not.
So, I mean, like, I kind of feel like from a structural standpoint, I think the film does better in the first half as opposed to the second half. Now, without giving it away to other people, etc., the setting does change. They start out on this expedition with Robert Carlyle, but then, you know, at some point in time, Guy Pearce will eventually return to the outpost. Now, without giving anything else away, you know, like the first part, I watched the first part with all of the action sequences and stuff like that up to the end. And I was like, it feels like I've watched a whole decent film at that point in time. And I was only halfway through the film at that stage. But, like, I think a lot of it is down to the fact of, like, as I've mentioned before, like, the concise, effective script writing. I just kind of felt like right at the start, with all of the introductions of people, the introduction of Guy Pearce's character with his cowardice, and with the sort of like the subtle hatred that he's getting from the other officers and stuff that care about that sort of stuff. I just thought it was just really well put together, and it was really easy to actually like move forward in that story with just a few lines. And there was a point in time where we kind of entered the second act, and it was literally just on a dime, really. There's one point in time where they're all of the soldier boys are sitting in the ramshack like little dining hall, they're having a bit of drink. They're talking and having a bit of drink, and the act who turned out to be a paedophile, can't remember his name or anything like that. That guy, the general of the outpost, he basically goes to Guy Pearce, and he says something like, you know, well, at least you're not somewhere worse, or something like that. Yeah. You know, you could have come here, but then again, you could have gone somewhere worse. Or even, I think the line was probably something like, like, you know, let's just hope this doesn't turn into anything worse. I can't exactly remember what it was, but the line just perfectly then matched the fact that you saw Robert Carlyle in the window for a moment. And it was just like, there you go, there's your problem.
Yeah.
As manifest itself, you know. There was loads and loads of little like bits of dialogue and stuff like that just showed how like brilliantly it was written. Like everything just had purpose. And it was just really, really nice. So yeah, the director of this film was a lady called Antonia Bird.
Okay.
I thought that this film was quite a unique film to have a female director for.
I honestly wouldn't have been able to tell you that this was directed by not that you know should change the subject material, but it's so kind of like male orientated.
Yeah,
That it surprises me that it was directed by a woman.
it's written by a man, and directed by a female. I can if I
Guess
stretch.
that's where that homoeroticism comes in. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, some of these elements being shot from a female perspective. I guess you know there was a lot of emphasis on the only woman that was in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Who was the Native American guide's sister? So the other Native American there. And yeah, like she had some unique moments in there and stuff like that. She was just there for a little bit of exposition, but also she was there just to quietly observe the situation as well.
I feel like maybe in the original script she was quite a minor character, and she then because she doesn't do much in terms of like lines, right? But in terms of the prominence of of her character and the situation in the world, she's quite prominent.
Yeah. I guess so. So yeah, like it's good. What happens at the start? Like, because I'm talking about like a concise, like writing and stuff like that. You know, you got to hook your audience. Do you feel like when you had those first couple of scenes, were you hooked?
Yeah. I mean, definitely this idea of like, you know, that they present this soldier. You know, okay, so you know we're going to be following someone who's heroic, and quite quickly it's like, this isn't what you think.
Yeah.
You know, and they subvert that, and they don't really tell you what's kind of going on. You just kind of see him in a cat, and you think, oh, you know, was he okay? And then you realise, and then they have, for me, I'm similar to you, whereas like I think Act 1 is almost a perfect film.
Yeah.
And then Act 2 falls off because they have this thing where it's like, you know, the lead is clearly like annoyed, and there's something going on, and then you find out he's a bit of a coward, but he kind of redeems himself, but not, you know, that's not how people behave. And then he has a moment of cowardice again, where he jumps off the cliff.
I mean, I almost don't see that as cowardice to a certain extent. It's an odd one, isn't it?
But to them it would be, right? Because you're not standing your ground.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
you are effectively ejecting yourself from the situation.
Yeah,
there is no kind of wiggle room there. That is you. If we're talking about fight, flight, or freeze, right? That is the literal personification of flight. And as he falls, one of the ones that are dead just instantly reacts and start, like the soldier instantly reacts and starts strangling him.
Yeah.
Because the soldier doesn't really know what's going on. And I thought that was a really nice way of going, like, although he's done that to save his life, that would be a shame on him. And I feel like that strangling was a personification of that.
But that soldier was such a good character. That absolute hard nut soldier who, you know, embodies everything masculine about, like, you know, being a soldier, etc.
Yeah.
It's great to have that contrasting role and to show Guy Pearce to be someone who just doesn't have those traits, you know, someone who would pretend to be dead and stuff. And all little quips that he has, like, you know, oh, you're promoted to captain, but you don't like the sight of blood, you know, stuff like that. Like, really good as a way to sort of like build up to that point in time where, you know, on his last like legs, he's literally just wants to show how much he hates that guy who, if he wasn't such a coward, maybe he would still be alive. You know, he's like in frustration. I'm fucking dying. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I was talking about was literally the first scene that you end up seeing is essentially like the victory dinner.
Yeah.
And Guy Pearce is there, and everyone that's there is got like these big steaks on a plate.
In the bowl of the woods.
Yeah, and they're just chowing down on the steaks. And like it's just a real quick montage of all of this stuff. It establishes like the premise of the film so quickly, you know, a wartime film about cannibalism.
Yeah.
You know, without actually like, you know, delving into cannibalism and stuff. It's just like literally they're just eating meat and stuff, and that's the main subject of the film. You know, he runs off, he's sick. There you go. Titles.
Yeah.
Ravenous.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And it's it's not got time for you to sort of like, oh, here we go, here's your 20-minute expedition. It's we're fucking in, guys.
Doesn't need that time, does it? Like,
and it's really clever visually.
Yeah.
You could probably watch this without sound and still
Yeah.
get the premise of the film.
I mean, like, Guy Pearce barely had anything to say for like the first half of the film.
Yeah.
Like, he barely said anything, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, everyone else was just saying stuff for him, and he was just observing everything, you know? And it was actually quite a while before he even paid attention to anything he even said. Yeah. It was good that way.
Yeah. And I like that because it was, again, a good characterization, because he was a yes man.
Yeah.
Even getting away from the coward stuff, because he was very much, you know, obligatory.
Yeah.
He
He didn't know what he was doing most of the time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and that was conveyed really well, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's looked lost with a gun, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I say, great writing, easy characterization, keep things simple.
Yeah.
Really good. So yeah, soundtrack.
Didn't necessarily click with me, you know.
Really?
I thought I didn't notice it, and I always think if you don't notice something, it's probably good,
Yeah.
right? You notice a soundtrack when it's bad and when it's great.
Yeah.
I just thought it was okay.
The soundtrack is actually something that's worth mentioning. Like, the main score, the main like repeated music? Do you at least remember that at all? With the single plucks of a banjo. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding. Yeah. That has been stuck in my head for years and years and years. And it was actually composed by Damon Albarn of Blur.
Huh.
And he actually,
How
with
funny.
another chap, actually did the whole album, all of the soundtrack, all music. And it's not often that he's like composing soundtracks for film, so it's always like a unique sort of like standout feature there of something, you know, that's coming out in 1999, like Blur being, I guess, like,
I mean, that was near their height, right?
yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, it's got a real unique sort of like feel to it. And it's obvious. I mean, like, Damon Albarn's not classically trained, I don't think, as a musician. I don't know. I'm just making the assumptions based on the stuff that he ends up making.
If you are, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. But like, you know, it's. By the way, if you're here, you know, get down here. We'll have you on for an episode.
Yeah, we'll have to screw in the third arm, but I'd do that for him.
Yeah. He has to share a
Well,
chair
pal.
with Nicolas Cage, but still.
No, you'll just have to be on the spinny chair that you're on now.
Oh, okay, fine.
They'll get
We'll
the
just
good
invite
chairs.
everyone.
Yeah.
What was I saying? But yeah, he's working with someone I guess is like a full composer, etc. But then, like, it gave me the impression of someone who's just like picking up an instrument, and just immediately being able to get some like interesting sound that's from a more basic pop sort of thought process, you know. But then he's getting the help of like a classical composer to get everything else going as well. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's a very unique edge to it when it comes to a soundtrack. But yeah, that's all good.
Feel like I need to re-listen to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely recommend at least having a listen to that first track. You know, it really sort of turns into an earworm. It's got no lyrics to it, which is rare, I guess.
Cool.
So if you could choose to eat any of the characters,
I knew this was coming, but I was kind of hoping that you'd wait for this for the next episode.
well, I mean, like, you know, it's a popular question for me. Is like, who would you have sex with? Blah blah blah.
It is a popular question.
It is a
comes
popular
up every
question.
day.
Yeah. But it's in the like it's the film. Okay,
Yeah.
we're still talking about the film, and in the next episode we won't really talk about the film too much. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
not
true.
like crossing boundaries. All right,
Okay.
this is all good.
Not repeating
Well, I
content.
am crossing boundaries, but still,
Yeah.
out of all of the characters in that film, which character would you like to eat the most if you had to eat one of them?
Do I get to pick a body part?
I mean, if you want, Mr. Fussy, it's up to you. I'm not gonna say like, well, you know, what character's dick would you eat? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, no one's having fun eating a dick.
I mean that's what you want me to say, though, don't you?
No.
Oh, I'd chow down on Mr. Soldier's penis. Like,
I'd gargle those balls.
No. Same question to you as I try and think about this.
Well, okay, so
who you chowing down on?
now there's a logic to it, okay, and it's based on logic that was provided by Robert Carlyle, okay. Now Robert Carlyle at some point in time describes the meat of several characters, you know, and it's based on their traits. So, for example, a character that drinks alcohol an awful lot would have his meat coloured a certain way, wouldn't be pink as he describes it. Another character is obviously very outdoorsy and very lean and muscular, and he said that person was very tough. Yeah. So with that in mind, you know, you would want to eat a character that has quite a lot of I guess like fat, because that's where the flavour is.
I know where I'm going.
Yeah, like I would be eating the actor who later turned out to be a paedophile, or allegedly he went to prison for something like that.
Some prime time bacon.
I mean, but like what's funny is like, oh, I can't give away a spoiler there, but like, you know, he doesn't get eaten. Like,
No.
That's all I have to say. He doesn't get eaten, and it's kind of odd. You know, out of all of the people.
Do you know who I'd go for if I couldn't have him?
Yeah.
Go for the Native American guy.
Oh yeah.
I feel like, you know, he's quite broad and tall, so you've got quite a lot to work with in terms of the meat. You know, if we're personifying a little bit of exotic spice there.
Yeah. Sounds
so
good.
I feel like I'd go. He'd be my number one target. I'd be following around that meat patty all the way up the mountain.
Now, one thing that we never mentioned so far is the fact that what's the word? David Arquette is in this film. Yeah, and you know about David Arquette? Anything about David Arquette? He's the guy from Scream that's in all of the Scream films up to a certain point.
Let's pretend like that's not resonating in my... Oh, words, what? Let's pretend that that's not making sense in my head.
Okay. Oh, okay, fair enough. David Arquette. So you know the kid on the outpost that was always like smoking peyote and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or eating peyote. I don't know what you do with it. That guy was married to Courtney Cox from Friends.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
But also, this guy was at one point in time the WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
Really?
Yes.
How interesting.
I mean, you can Google it. You can find out how that fucking crazy thing happens. He was in like several episodes. You know, he's a big sort of wrestling fan. You probably can find him in other wrestling organizations at different points in time. I think he also had a run on TNA as well. But yeah, he was at one point in time held the WCW World Heavyweight belt, and Courtney Cox would appear in episodes. You know. Just like helping her husband out, etc. I don't think she ever was at ringside, like hitting people and stuff like that. I don't think that's her style, but she was.
Did they stay together or?
No, I don't think so. Or they appeared in lots of like Scream things as well as a couple or something like that.
I forgot that Courtney Cox was in Scream.
Yeah. She's a big part in it
because she did legacy, like a legacy version, didn't they? Like they bung.
They've done several new Scream films, and they've all been in them. I don't know. I don't think Courtney Cox has ever died in Scream. At some point in time, I assumed that she's going to be like still making them, and at some point in time, the one that she's not made. Like at the end,
she'll be the Scream face.
Yeah. She'll be Ghostface, won't she? Yeah. But anyway, David Arquette, bit of a mad chap, was once the World Heavyweight Champion.
And that is the kind of facts that I don't think you'd get anywhere else.
Now, one thing to take into account is we've previously talked about like wrestlers that turned actors.
Yeah.
Does this kind of make like? I mean, like he's a actor turned wrestler, turned actor, so he fits within that.
I mean, these days you even have YouTubers turned boxers turned wrestlers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
it's true. It's true.
Anyone can be a wrestler. Follow your dreams.
But I suppose it's a matter of like deciding like who is the best like wrestler turned actor. You could put Mr. Arquette in with that. I still don't think he's going to come out on top of anything.
No,
he's just kind of like a bit basic, isn't he?
Bit basic. Arquette, you're basic, mate.
Yeah,
you might have won a title, but not us.
Well, I mean, like he comes from like an actor's dynasty as well. Did you know that? Yeah, there's loads of Arquettes and stuff. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have managed to speak about a film. And I don't think we have put you off from watching that film.
That's always the goal, right? To try and tussle that line between getting you excited but trying not to spoil anything.
This is a film for you to watch. Come and see this film. It's really good. It is a rare gem. You could say a rare morsel.
You could.
Yeah.
That's a way of putting it.
Yeah. It's always great to see Robert Carlyle being Robert Carlyle,
being the big RC.
Yeah. He is. He's very Robert Carlyle-y in this film. Yeah.
If you're not a fan of his work, this is not going to change your perception of him.
But if you're not a fan of his work, watch all of his work again and then become a fan.
Yeah, because like you're wrong.
Yeah, you're absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Him and Stephen Graham, pinnacles of acting.
Yeah.
Put the two of them together.
Yeah.
If they were ever in something together, maybe they are.
Who's going to win in a fight between
Stephen Graham?
Absolutely, 100%.
He's fucking killing. Come on.
Yeah, but would Robert Carlyle bring a knife?
Stephen Graham is the knife.
I feel like Robert Carlyle, like you can't just say
sneaky.
Sneaky. Yeah. Like he's gonna like stick a thumb up his arse and bite his ear off.
Homoeroticism, and Robert Carlyle and they go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say no to be trapped in a bear trap with him.
Yeah. Okay. What an end. What a journey this has been.
Much like the film Ravenous. What an end.
Yeah, what an end.
Yeah.
Shall we just get on the floor and lay on top of each other and let someone find us?
Assume the position.
And just go, nope, I'm out.
Well, there was a reason why you were pulling your trousers up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay then, all right. So that has been another episode. And I bet you can imagine what we're doing next week. That's right. We're
Care
talking
Bears.
about ponies.
Yeah.
Yay.
We both kind of went there.
Care Bears and ponies.
Yeah. Eating each other.
Yeah, imagine if Care Bears, like there's this one Care Bear called like Despair Bear.
Have you seen it? This is an actual thing.
Oh, really?
Somebody animated the Care Bears, and they like one of them got a disease and just started to like eat them all.
Well, that's like interesting because like there is a Care Bears movie where like they eat some crab apples and these apples kind of turn them into zombies. I'm sure that actually existed. That's like burned into my memory from like old VHSs. Anyway, cannibalism next week. And as I would say, as a bit of revision, I would say have a bit of human flesh, see what it's like, go round Gran's, yeah, and when she's asleep, cut a little bit out of her thigh. She won't notice. Have a bit of that, chew on it, see what it's like, and then come to us and we'll talk about it. And we're all going to do it. We're all, before the podcast, we're going to have a bit of human flesh, yeah? Maybe find just like, someone off the street that no one's going to miss. Cook them up. Share them about with your friends before you listen to the podcast.
Or don't. Because that is now, and I am marking this, the second time you've advocated for cooking human flesh. The first time it was babies, and now it was a whole bit about... In fact, you've talked about cooking up your gran twice.
Okay, anyway.
Goodbye, people, and stay safe from people like Carl.
All right, okay, I guess that's it. Cannibalism next week. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. Here's a disclaimer. We are not experts. We can easily get things wrong in an episode. Our intention is to explore and open up the possibilities for further exploration. Come find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. We would love some interaction. Also, if you can consider supporting us on Patreon, that would help a bunch. Search for 2, that's number 2, Strange Men Pod, all one word. Until next time, keep it strange.